The Adventures of Taxi Dog by Debra and Sal Barraca. Pictures by Mark Boyner. My name is Maxie. I ride in a taxi around New York City all day. I sit next to Jim. I belong to him, but it wasn't always this way. There's Maxie. I grew up in the city, all dirty and gritty, looking for food after dark. I roamed all around, avoiding the pound, and lived on my own in the park. One day, a car stopped. Its tire had popped. Out stepped a tall man I could see. He came over and said, as he patted my head, "Are you lost? You can come home with me." Did I hear right? Oh boy! My tail wagged with joy. I jumped right up on the seat. He said, "My name is Jim. I could ride home with him, and he'd give me some good food to eat." There he is. There's the taxi. I ate and I ate. I cleaned the whole plate. Then Jim took a scarf of bright red. He tied it around me, so glad that he found me, and kissed me on top of my head. My wish had come true. I could start life anew. At last I had a warm home, with someone to love me and take good care of me. No longer would I have to roam. Jim said, "Your name's Maxie. You'll ride in my taxi. We'll ride all over town. We'll see all the sights, all the streets and the lights. We'll go riding uptown and down. There's so much to see, every building and tree, with people and cars everywhere. All the interesting places, new friends and new faces, each time we pick up a fare." There's Maxie hanging out of the taxi while they're driving around. One time a big lady who said she was Sadie was singing that night in a show. She broke into a song and I sang right along. You couldn't tell me from the pro. "To the hospital, quick, my wife is quite sick," cried a man as we stopped for the light. "Our baby is due," and like lightning we flew. We made it in time. What a night. Sometimes when it's slow, to the airport we go. We get in the line at the stand to wait for a fare, and a hot dog we share while we watch the planes take off and land. The door opened wide. Guess who jumped inside? 2 clowns and a chimp they called Murray. We're performing at 8, and our flight came in late to the circus, and please try to hurry. And there's the circus clowns just coming from the airport. We get such big tips on most of our trips. Jim is surprised at this treat, but he doesn't know that I put on a show for the passengers in the back seat. And there's Maxie with his disguise on, putting on a show. At the end of each day, when we've earned our pay, we drive the cab back to its spot, where our boss named Lou says, "Hi, how'd you do? Have a biscuit." He likes me a lot. It's just like a dream. Me and Jim, we're a team. I'm always there at his side. We never stand still. Every day's a new thrill. Come join us next time for a ride. So today we're going to make our own little taxi craft. So I started with a paper towel tube. I cut it in half, or actually probably in thirds. And I colored it yellow. You can paint it yellow, color it whatever you want. After I did that, I used a black marker and I made some checkers on the side to make it look like a checkered cat. So I used a ruler and I drew some lines on the side, and then I colored the checkers in, so I made a pattern. So I drew 3 lines, and then I drew lines up and down, and I just alternated coloring the checkers. And you can either use straws, or we have these little dowels in our craft supplies, so if you don't have them, you can use a straw as well. And I pushed them through my paper tube. And I'm not gluing them. They seem to be tight enough. I'm not sure if you're going to need to glue the straws if you use them, but you can just use either a hole punch or a pair of scissors to poke a little hole and then feed your dowels through. And then for the wheels, I found some pop or water bottle lids, and you're going to have to ask a parent to help you with that. You can either use like a sharp screw and try to push it through, or a pair of scissors. If you do that, you need to ask a parent. You need to set it down towards a table. Don't hold it in your hand and poke it. You need a very sharp pair of scissors, so you're going to have to ask a parent to do that for you. And then I just slipped those onto my dowels. And then on the top, I did cut a hole. You can do that if you want. Just took my scissors, and if you just snip a little tiny section, then you'll be able to slip your scissors inside and cut whatever size hole you want. There you go. So there's your little taxi.